Okay, so in this APA guidebook, which I've given you, there are numbers. All those APA rules have numbers, right? And if you have noticed that in the reference list answer sheet, the numbers are also given. So you can check the rules and check the answers. Okay. Okay, so let me share the screen. In the last class, we had already discussed the in-text citation answers, right?
Yes, miss.
So for the in-text citation, there was some blank spaces, especially if they required a signal phrase. Then there was a blank space, and there's also a space, there was a bracket as well, a blank bracket which you had to fill up. Okay, so those are the entries for in-text citation. We had already done that. That was easier one. But the reference list, if you notice, if you have seen the answer sheet, you'll see that there's a lot of details. So for the reference list, you have to read the entries very carefully and find out what type of source it is. If the author's name is mentioned, find that out, then the year of publication, and then the other information as well, like the title of the article, whether it's a name of the book or journal, all these things. And then using the APA rules from the APA guidebook, you need to rewrite those entries. Okay, so can you all see the screen?
Not yet, ma'am.
Yes, miss. Yeah.
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Here, this is the APA reference worksheet. Can you see this page?
Yes, miss, we can.
So in this worksheet, there are 20 entries. Okay, so I think we discussed a little bit about the first entry. So what source is the first entry? You can see it's already mentioned.
The book.
It's a book, right? So this is a printed book because the website address is not given. If the website address is given, then you know that it is an online book. It's not a printed book. There are some examples towards the end where the online address is given, the URL is given, and you know that it is an online source. But if the URL address is not given, then you know that it is a printed, either it's a printed book or printed journal article or magazine article, and so on. Okay, so the first one is a book. Book is the easiest one, actually. And when we go through it, we see that the book title is called The Witness and the Other World. That's the title of the book. It is written by Mary B. Campbell Foster. Remember that when we are talking about the reference list, the APA rule follows the last name of the author. So last name of the author followed by initial of the first and middle name, if the middle name is given. Okay, so here you can see Mary B. Campbell Foster. Now, the last name, the Campbell Foster, there is a hyphen there. Because there's a hyphen, that's why Campbell Foster is together. So Campbell Foster is the last name. Mary is the first name. So you take the M initial there, and B, we don't know what B stands for, but the initial is given. So basically, the name should be Campbell Foster, then comma M dot B dot, the initial of the first and middle name. Okay. And then it says it was published by Cornell University Press in 1988. So 1988 is the year of publication, and the name of the publisher is called Cornell University Press. Page number is given also. Now this is just additional information for printed books, especially for books in the reference list. You don't have to provide the page number because this is the number of pages, total number of pages. It's not given the specific page number. All right, so basically page number is not required for books. So let's look at the answer sheet. Can you see the answer sheet?
No, miss. Thank you, Jaina.
Okay, can you see now? Can you all see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the answer is given. For the first one, you can see Campbell Foster is the last name of the author, comma, M dot B dot, that's the initial of the first and middle name. Then in bracket, 1988 is the year of publication. And then the name of the book is called The Witness and the Other World. Remember that when it's title of a book or title of a magazine, or journal, newspaper, the original name is always italicized. So if you were to handwrite this, then you would have to underline this name, The Witness and the Other World. Okay, then dot, then the name of publisher is Cornell University Press. Okay. You also notice that, the second line where only press is written, you can see that it is indented a little bit from the left-hand side. So basically the second line onwards, if it's second line, third line, fourth line, all those lines would be indented a little bit from the left-hand side. That means you have to leave a little bit of space from the left-hand side. So this is also part of the APA rule. Okay. Now, you can also check the answer. This is a book. The answer you'll find you can check the rule in your guidebook, rule number 1.5.1. So this is for the author, single author for books, printed books. So that's the rule. So you can check that all the rule number is given. You can double check in your APA guidebook. Okay, now this list, also the answers given here, it mentions that the reference list, it has not been organized in an alphabetical order. Normally, when we write the reference list, if you check at the end of any book or journal article, anything, you'll find the reference list. It is always arranged in a chronological manner, alphabetically, based on the initial of the first author's last name. Now, this has not been done like that. The answers are just given based on those 20 entries, okay? But basically, you would have to rearrange them and rearrange them in a more alphabetical order based on the initial of the first author's last name. So you see that it's not exactly in alphabetical order. So for example, the fifth one, Tita. Last name of the author is Tita. It starts with T. Then the following one starts with M, More. Number 6 is More. Then number 7 is Bruno. It starts with B. So you can see it's not arranged in alphabetical order, but when you provide your reference list for your research paper, make sure that you arrange the reference list alphabetically based on the initial of the first author's last name. Okay, so here it's not given, it's not written alphabetically because just to make it easier for you to check the answers in a serial manner based on those 20 entries, the answers are just given like that. Okay, so let's move on to the second one. I'll try to share the interest. Can you all see the screen?
Yes, miss.
Okay, the second one. Introduction from the book entitled New Historicism and Cultural Materialism, edited by Kiernan Bryan. It was published by Oxford University Press in 1996, located in New York. The introduction runs from pages 9 to 18 and was written by Matthew Harold. Okay, so what type of source is this?
It's a book.
Yeah, it's also a book, but the information is taken from the introduction, right? So these type of books usually have an editor as well. Okay, so maybe there are several chapters, that there's an introduction, several chapters. So basically the information was borrowed from the introduction section. So what's the author's name?
Matthew Harold.
It's a book with an editor and it has an editor's name and also author's name. So author's name here it says Matthew Harold. Editor's name is Kiernan Bryan. Name of the book is Historicism and Cultural Materialism. It was published in 1996. It was published by Oxford University Press, so that's the name of the publisher, and located in New York, New York. Now, in the previous APA version, that's the 6th version, the name of the publication was needed, but in the 7th edition, actually that's not needed. Located, so name of the publisher is important, but not the name of the place where publication took place. Okay, so let's check the answer, number 2. Can you see the answer, number 2? Can you see this page?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now you can check the answer in the rule number 1.3.9. Okay, so check this rule number for the answer to the second entry. So here you can see, what's the name, full name of the author? Name of the author was Matthew Harold. Okay, Matthew Harold. So Harold is the last name. So last name Harold, comma, M. M is the initial of the first name, then dot. And year of publication is 1996, that's in bracket, then dot. Remember, these dots are also part of the APA rule, so you have to put them there as well. Okay, and the information was taken from introduction, so that's written, then dot, then in Ryan K, the editor's name is given, and then in bracket is written ED, because capital E, D dot stands for editor. So that's in bracket, and then the name of the book, New Historicism and Cultural Materialism. Now, since this is the introduction, that's why the page number is needed here, according to this rule. PP dot, page number is given, the dot, Oxford University Press. Only the name of the publisher is required, but the name of the place is not required according to the 7th edition. I just want to check this rule, for the editor's name, 1.3.9, let me double check. 1.3.9. Okay, so introduction, prefaces, forwards, afterward. Lang, J.A. Okay, so 3.9. So here you can see introduction, prefaces, forwards, afterwards. So it follows this rule. Okay, so that was entry number 2. Then moving on to entry number 3. A short story entitled The Eye of the Lens by Langdon Jones, included in the anthology titled New Worlds, edited by Michael Moorcock. The story is found on pages 101 to 140. The book was published by Fontana Paperbacks in 1983 in London, UK. Okay, so This is a short story entitled The Eye of the Lens by Langdon Jones. So the author's name is Langdon Jones. It's a short story. This short story is included in an anthology. So basically the source type is an anthology. The name of the anthology is called New Worlds. So, and it also has an editor as well, right? So there's a lot of information going on here. The source is an anthology. The title of the anthology is New Worlds. And what is an anthology? Any idea? I think I did mention it before.
No, miss, no idea. I don't remember.
The anthology is a collection of work. So in an anthology, you'll find like several chapters, combined together, or there'll be like several different types of works, like short stories, poetry, maybe different chapters. And all these different chapters or short stories or articles are written by different authors. So basically, anthology is a collection of work by different authors. And in this type of book, you will have an author's name based on whatever chapter it is or article it is. And you'll also have editor as well. So compilation of work always has an editor. They edit the book. So author's name will be there and editor's name will be there as well. The author's name of the short story is Langdon Jones. The editor's name is Michael Moorcock. Of course, there can be more than one editor as well, but this one there's only a single editor. Okay, and for this type of work, the page number is also given, the page range is given as well. Okay. So let's check the answer for number 3. So number 3, here it is. You can see that the name of the author is Langdon Jones. So Jones is the last name. So Jones, comma, L, dot. Then year of publication is 1983, close bracket, dot. Then the name of that short story is called The Eye of the Lens, then dot. Then the editor's name here, Moorcock, comma, M, and then in bracket, ED, capital ED, dot, close bracket, this stands for editor. And then after that, the name of the book, the name of the anthology, that is New Worlds, which is italicized, you can see. If you were to handwrite, you'd have to underline it. And then the page range is given for that short story, which is pp. 101 to 140, close bracket. Fontana Paperbacks is the name of the publisher. Okay, so since this is a anthology, that's why the page number is given here, right? Normally, if it's just a printed book, the page number is not required. For this type of work, the page number is needed. Okay, so you can check rule number 1.5.6. This one is rule is for edited book in an anthology. So we just double check that in the booklet. Rule is 1.5.6. Okay, here. Article or chapter in an edited book. Okay. So this is the rule here given. It's an edited book. I don't know whether there's a separate example for anthology, but it is 1.5.6. It does refer to article or chapter in an edited book. Basically, anthology is edited, is an edited book. So that's why this is the page. This is the rule number. Okay, let's move on to the following entry. The fourth one. Fourth one is an article entitled After the Deluge, written by Aloysius Milon Khan on page 12 of the Weekend Independent of November 20, 1988. What type of source is this?
News
It's an
article?
article.
It's an article. What type of article is it? Is it a journal or newspaper, magazine? Weekend Independent. Okay. Sounds like
News article.
a news article and be a newspaper. Okay. So the author's name is given, the title of the article is given, page number is given, name of that newspaper is given, and for newspapers or magazine, newspaper article, magazine article, remember the month and date is there. Okay, so let's look at the answer, number 4. Here it is. The last name of the author is Khan, followed by initial of first name, middle name is A.M. Okay, and here you can see the year of publication, month and date is given. Okay, because it's a newspaper article. Then name of the article, After the Deluge, and name of that newspaper, Weekend Independent, and page number is given 12. Okay, so you can see the name of the article is not italicized, but name of that newspaper, Weekend Independent, that is italicized. Okay, so if you handwrite it, you have to underline this. Now you can check this answer in rule number 1.4.5. Okay, let me check 1.4.5. Here, article in a newspaper, right? So let's move on. Number 5. This one is a review entitled Generation Kill by Harris T. Tita of a book by Evan Wright with the title Sparing No One, a soldier's account of the war. It was published in the New York Post Herald on June 10, 2004 on pages 1 and 4. So what type of work is this?
It's a review.
Review.
Yeah, it's a review of what? It is
Of
a
a book.
review. It's a review of a book, right? So review of a book. The review is titled Generation Kill. And the reviewer's name is Harris T. Tita. It's a review of a book, and the name of that book is a book by Evan Wright. The author of that book is Evan Wright, and the name of that book is titled Sparing No One, a Soldier's Account of the War. And the publisher's name is New York Post Herald. And the year of publication of that review is given June 10, 2004. Okay, so let's check the answer. Number 5 here. So remember, it's a review. That's why the reviewer's name comes first. Tita, that's the last name, followed by initial of first and middle name. Then year of the publication is 2004. Since it's a review, the month and date is also given. Name of the review is Generation Kill, and then in square bracket you have to write the review of what. So review of a book, because since it's the name of a book, you can see the title of the book is in italicized, Sparing No One, A Soldier's Account of the War, and then by E. Wright. The writer's name is given there. And then close the bracket. And this was New York Post Herald. So it was published, I think probably it's a magazine, New York Post Herald, or could be a newspaper as well. So it was, the review was published in this newspaper. Do you think it's the name of a newspaper, New York Post Herald? Does it sound like a newspaper?
I feel weird about the Post Herald part.
Post Herald, New York Post Herald. Could be a newspaper or could be a magazine. But anyway, that's, since it was published there, so that's the original name of newspaper or magazine. That's why that is also italicized, and then the page number is given. Okay. So for page number is required for other sources, except for books. Okay, let's go to 6. Okay, for this one, you can check a review. Yeah, so rule number 1.4.6, you can check that rule. Okay. So let's just move on. Number 7, a book entitled Pocket Pal, Graphic Arts Production Handbook, published by International Paper Company of Memphis, Tennessee. This was the 7th edition, published in 1997, and edited by Michael E. Bruno and Paper Hendricks. So there are 2 editors. So in this book, okay, a book entitled this, published by, okay, now this one in entry number 7, editor's name is there. There are 2 editors, but the author's name is not there, right? There's no author's name, but editor's name is given. All right, so let's check the answer for number 7. You can see, since the author's name is not there, the editor's name is there, so editor's name comes first. Bruno, M.H. and Hendricks. Now remember that if there's more than one author in the reference list, that and is always a short form of and. You do not write A-N-D and. It's always a short form of and. Okay? Europe Publications 1996. Name of that book is given, italicized. And then this is the 7th edition. So in bracket, write 7th edition. You can see for edition, it's a small e. Small ed dot, okay? If it was a capital E, then that stands for editor, but edition is a small e, ed. And the name of the publisher is given, International Paper Company. Okay, and you can check rule number 1.5.5. Okay, let me just check that rule. 1.5. Okay. Edition other than the first. So basically, edition. And for this rule, actually, remember that it's this rule also is a rule that follows editor's name, because the author's name is not there. Since the author's name is not there, that's why the editor's name comes first. Okay, entry number 8, this is translation. A translation by Randy Suvari of a book published by the Mark Frost and Co. of the city of Keokuk in Ohio. Okay, entitled Finding the Wilderness, Travels in the Urban Jungle, with the authors being Henry Irwin Jones and Miranda Close. The author The book came out in 1997 and the translation in 1999. Okay, so it's a translated work. It's a translation of a book. So original name of the book is given, and translator's name is also given. Okay, so let's check the answer. Number 8. Okay. Name of the book. So the okay, so name of the book is Wilderness. The name of the author's name, there are 2 authors. Okay, so look at the answer for number 8. The author's name, last name is Jones and Close. So Jones, the initial, first and middle name. Second author is Close. So you can see and, short form of and is given. Year of publication. Now this year of publication is the year of publication for the translation, not the original work. Original work you can see is given at the end, but this is the translation work, because it's like when you borrow information from translated work, if the book is written in a different language, of course you can't read that, but you are reading the translation, which is probably in English. So your publication for the translation is there. Finding the Wilderness, Travels in the Urban Jungle, that's the name of that book. In bracket, you write the translator's name. So translator's name is given, R. Suvari, then in comma, trans. Trans stands for translation. And then the name of the publisher, which is Mark Foster and Co. And in bracket, you need to write original work published in 1997. Okay, so check rule number 1.5.4. Check that rule number. Okay, move on to the 9th one. A journal named Post-Structuralist Studies published an article by Michael Fucocino and Rolly Berthesky, and the title, with the title, Who Killed the Author? So that's the name of the article, Who Killed the Author. The article came out in 2009 in the 3rd issue of the 7th volume of the journal, and covers pages 233 to 239. So if it's a journal article, then volume number, issue number, page number is given. Usually it's required. Sometimes the issue number is not given. If the issue number is not given, then just write the volume number, page number. If issue number is given, write that as well. So the journal name, the name of that journal is Post-Structuralist Studies. And the article title is Who Killed the Author? And this was written by Michael Fucocino and Rolly Berthesky, 2 authors. Okay, so let's check the answer. This is for number 9. So you can see the author's last name followed by initial is given there. Remember, A and short form of and. Then year of publication is 2009. Then the title of that article is Who Killed the Author? Okay, that's the name with a question mark. That's the whole title of the author. Then the name of that journal where this article was published, that's called Post-Structuralist Studies. So you can see that is italicized. So if you handwrite, you need to underline it. And then here, volume number 17, issue number is in brackets, issue number 3, comma, page range is given 233 to 239. So volume number, issue number, page number. Okay. Also, you can see for all these answers, you can see the second line is indented from the left-hand side. Okay, so you leave a space from the left-hand side. So if there was a third line, that would also be indented as well from the left-hand side. Okay, so you can check rule number 1.4.2. Now, this is also a printed journal article because the website address is not given. Sometimes, as I said, the website address or the DIY number is given sometimes, that is digital DIY identifier. All right, so moving on to entry number 10. Entry number 10, this is a song entitled Merrily Merlin by the band Living Kennedys on their CD Back from the Grave. The song was written by Johnny Fitzgerald. The CD was released in 2001 by Resurrection Records of Jersey City, New Jersey. Okay, so this one is a different type of source itself. It's actually it's a CD. And the name of the song, which is recorded in this CD, is called Merrily Merlin by the band Living Kennedys on this CD. The name of the CD is Back from the Grave. The song was written. So when we're talking about a song which is recorded in a CD, you are referring to what you have to include is the writer of that song, who had written that song here. So Johnny Fitzgerald, that's the name of the songwriter. Okay. So here in this type of entry, the band is not important. It's the songwriter is important. That CD was released in 2001. The name of the recording studio is by Resurrection Records. Okay, and the place where it was recorded is Jersey City. Now, I don't think that the place is important in the 7th edition, so let's check the answer. So that's for entry number 10. Okay, so entry number 10, you can see Living Kennedys. Living Kennedy. Let me just check the entry. Band is Living Kennedys. Okay, so probably the rule is changed. Okay, Living Kennedys, that's the name of the band. Okay, so previously the name of the songwriter was actually given, but here, according to the 7th edition, the name of the band is given, year of publication. Sorry, not year of publication, year when the record came out, 2001. Name of the song, Merrily Merlin, and in bracket it's written song on Back from the Graves. So I have to write the CD's name, and that is italicized, not the name of the song, but the name of the CD is italicized, and then in bracket write album, and Resurrection Records is the name of the recording studio. Okay. All right, so you can check rule number 1.8.7. I just want to check this, 1.8.7. Single song or track, recording artist. Okay, so the rule is recording artist, year of release, title of the song, on title of the album, the record label. Okay. So recording artist. Okay, so that's the rule. Recording artist. So basically the band name was given at the beginning. Okay, rule number 11. An article named Vado Retro Marvelous by Robert Greene, included in an anthology. Okay, so this is another example of an anthology. Just check for rule number 11, check rule number 1.5.6 again, all right? So we'll go into that. Let's just go very quickly. Number 12. Okay, number 12 is Elon Musk is the name of the podcast episode taken from Joe Rogan Experience, hosted by Joe Rogan and posted on this. Okay, so this is a new one. Episode number is 1169 and is produced by Higher Primate and can be found at, okay, so the website address is given. Let's look at the answer. Number 12, right? Okay, name of the host, followed by year when it came out. Okay, let's check rule number 1.8.9 for podcast. 1.8.9, single podcast episode. Okay, here's the rule. So first the executive producer. Okay, so executive producer's last name followed by initial, date of the publication, title of the podcast episode, so that's the episode number, then audio podcast episode, and then in title of the podcast, then production company, and then URL address. So you can see a lot of things here. So basically, entry number was 11, I was 12. It followed the rule, which is 1.8.9, because it's a single host, is a single host. All right. So please check the rules. I'm going to move on to 13. Okay, rule number 13, what's this? Let's check 1.7.1. These are new entries. Web page or piece of online content. Okay. If the page names are individual authors, cite their first name. Okay, so these type of examples may be useful for you if you take any information from online source. And remember to follow these APA rules, because these are new ones which have been added, actually, the online sources. These were not included in the 6th edition, but these are included in the 7th edition. So basically, you write the last name of the individual author, then year, month, and date, if you find that, title of the page, site name, and then the URL address, that's the website address, right? So let's see. Okay, so rule number 13, sorry, the entry number 13. And the answer is given here. The author's name, then year when it came out, name of that article, and then the website address is given. Okay, Okay, so let's just see all these other ones. I'm not going to go through them. Please read the entries very carefully and then check the answers and check the number. Check the APA rule number in the booklet, all right? So most of these are, online sources, and these have been added in the 7th edition. And these can be very useful because when you write your research paper, you will be borrowing a lot of information from online sources. So remember that you need to provide the reference list, you need to follow the APA rules. So check the APA guideline, take help from them, follow the rules. All right, so clear everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So any questions?
No, ma'am.
কোশ্চেনগুলোটা মনে রাখার সহজ উপায় কি মিস?
So remember that when you do the APA, of course, you take help from the guideline because you can see it's impossible to memorize. Just remember some of the basic rules, that last name of the author followed by initial of first and middle name, year of publication that is needed, and then the name of the article followed by what type of source it is. So just remember these basic rules. Okay, so I'll be taking a quiz. The second quiz will be on APA. We have already fixed the date for the makeup class, which will be on Thursday, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Okay, so I will take the quiz number 2 on APA. So basically, the question type will be similar to this practice sheet. I'll give you some entries for both reference list and also in-text citation. In-text citation is very simple, you can remember. For the reference list, maybe a little bit more complicated. But of course, it's an open book. You take help from the APA guideline, and then you rewrite the entries using the APA 7th edition rules. Right, so there will be 5 entries altogether, 3 for reference list and 2 for the in-text citation. Right, each of them will contain 2 marks, to carry 2 marks. Now, thing is that if you get some parts wrong, you won't get 0. So I will still give you some partial marks. So out of 2, you might get 1 or 1.5 or maybe 0.75, depending on how much it's correct, all right? So you won't get fully 0 if the entire thing is not correct. You'll get some partial marks, all right? So 5 entries, 10 marks. So I'll take the quiz 2 on APA on Thursday during the makeup class. So please do not miss. Okay, I will give back the marks for quiz 1 as well by Thursday. So you can discuss that, because next week on Sunday, I will take the first assessment. As I mentioned, I'll be taking 2 assessments. The first one will be on claim identification. Okay, so it'll be just similar to quiz 1. So I'll give back the marks. If you have any questions, you can ask me on Thursday after the quiz, right? So Sunday will be first assessment on the claim identification, and next Tuesday will be the second assessment. For that, you have to write another argumentative essay, but I will also give you some links, online links, and you have to provide the reference list, especially the in-text citation. When you borrow information from those links, you provide the in-text citation for the argumentative essay. So you have to write the essay, but you also have to provide the source information for borrowed information from the different sources. All right? So clear, everyone? So please don't miss classes. Don't miss the makeup on Thursday.
কুইজ
Ma'am, when are you
শুরু হওয়ার
going
সময়
to
আপনি একটু
class
টেক্সট
on
মেসেজ
Thursday?
পাঠাতে পারবেন?
I think the 2 are talking at the same time, one by one. Yeah. What were you saying? I'll give back the, the quiz marks before the assessment. So by Thursday, I'll give you the quiz 1, and then the quiz 2, I will definitely give you by, say, Friday, or I'll give you back by next Sunday, so you can check that, all right?
তো ম্যাডাম কুইজ শুরুর সময় ওই যে একটা মেসেজ পাঠাতে পারবেন, অ্যাকচুয়ালি ওই যে ওই টাইমটা মনে থাকে না।
Yes, okay, I'll remind you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so please remember, makeup day. The makeup class is Thursday, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So I'll take the quiz first, and then we'll continue with class. All right? APA is a bit difficult actually, because there are so many rules. I know it, and you have the soft copy of this booklet actually, so you have to scroll down to look for the rules. If you could print out, it would be good. You can print out the whole booklet, it would be good. But anyway, it's an open book, so you definitely take help from the APA guideline. Okay, so Thursday is the quiz 2, Sunday is assessment 1, Tuesday is assessment 2. So any questions before I move on?
No, miss. All good.
Okay, now I want to talk about the survey,
No.
because these are the assessment, topics that I've covered, but you also have to continue writing your research paper. So I want to share. Can you see the screen here?
Yes, miss.
Now this is a sample survey questionnaire. You can see that this questionnaire has 10 survey questions. This is exactly how you're going to prepare your survey questionnaire. Okay, so remember, the questionnaire is a tool, and this questionnaire will contain minimum 10 survey questions. So you're going to use your research questions to form these survey questions. So there's a direct link between the research questions and the survey questions. Remember that when you wrote the research questions, they were broad in nature. The answers required a descriptive answer. But when you prepare your survey questions, you can see there's nothing descriptive here. You will have to give some options. For each of the survey questions, you need to provide some options, like 4 to 5 options, just similar to this sample questionnaire that I'm showing you. You can see there are like 4 to 5 options, and the respondent will just tick any one of them. That's how they're going to respond. Now, if you think that they can tick more than one of these options, then you need to mention that. So after the question, then in bracket, you mention, you may tick more than one option. You need to give that instruction, right? And then they can select more than one option. But if that's not required, then you just say tick the most appropriate response, okay? So, and you can also see that all these options are kind of detailed. They're not like a yes, no, something like that. It's not simple like that. For all these options, you need to provide details. So you look at the research questions carefully. From each of them, try to come up with 2 to 3 survey questions. Okay. Now the survey questions are close-ended, because you can see the research questions were open-ended because the answer required descriptive answers. But for the survey questions, you can see that there's nothing descriptive here. Only the options are descriptive. You are already providing the options, and the respondents will just tick any one, or for some of them maybe more than one, right? And they are not going to write anything else. Okay, so this is the difference between the research questions and survey questions. The survey questions are close-ended. You are not giving the scope to the respondents to give any detailed answers. They're only going to tick any one of the option, and that's their response. That's why it's close-ended, because it's closed from the end. They are not going to provide any other opinion. So minimum 10 survey questions. Now, if you think that you need more than 10 survey questions to answer all the research questions, then definitely you can add some more survey questions. But minimum 10. Every one of you will have to come up with 10. Now, there are, please listen carefully for the structure of this survey questionnaire. Now, at the beginning, you write survey questionnaire. You can write the title of your topic. After that, there will be some introductory lines. I will give you a handout on that. Let me share. I think that I have it. Handouts. Okay, survey questionnaire.
Ma'am, there should be 2 or 3 survey question for one research question.
Yes, for each research question, there will be 2 to 3.
Okay.
Can you all see the screen here?
Yes, well,
Survey
Yes,
questionnaire?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now this part, this is the introductory part. Just forget all this others. Don't look at the red part. Just this one. So write the title at the beginning, then you need to include some introductory lines. This is exactly why you can write, you can rephrase in your own words. This survey questionnaire is designed to obtain a clear view on, write down your topic, full stop. This survey is a part of the research project which is required for the course ENG105 at North South University, Dhaka. Okay, the purpose of conducting this research on, then write your topic. Okay, this part you don't have to add actually. But then continue. Your honest response to the questions will be highly appreciated and will be kept confidential. Then thank you for your time and cooperation in taking part in this survey. So please include these introductory lines in your survey questionnaire. It's very important because you need to inform your respondents why you are doing this research. You need to mention that. So mention your topic. I mentioned that this project is required for your ENG 105 course at North South University. So you need to give them that information why you're doing the research. Then you request them. You need to write, your honest response to the questions will be highly appreciated and will be kept confidential. So you want the respondents to answer in an honest way. So you need to request them that. And also you need to inform them that you will not be using this survey questionnaire for any other purpose other than this research. That's why you need to write, your honest response to the question will be highly appreciated and will be kept confidential. So you have to assure them that you are not going to use it for any other purpose other than this research. So you have to assure them so that they respond in an honest way, right? And then at the end, you can say, thank you for your time and cooperation in taking part in this research. So these introductory lines are very important. Okay, so I'll give you that handout. So after you write the title, then write those introductory lines. After that, there's another section. Okay, this part is called demographic information. Okay, now this part depends on your research, right? Depends on your research participants. if you think these background information will impact your results, the demographic information will include like age, if your age range is given, and then say location, like if they're urban dwellers or city dwellers, then educational background, then gender, whether it's male and female. These are demographic information. If you think that these background information will impact your results in any way, then you need it. You need to provide, you need to ask these type of questions. But remember that these demographic information is not part of the survey questions. These are not survey questions, so do not number them. Just simply write age, and you can give an age range. Because say if you have two groups of participants, younger generation and older generation, and you want to compare their responses, then age will be required. So you give an age range for the younger generation and age range for the older generation, and the respondents will just tick any one. So based on that, you can actually group the responses, the younger generation, older generation, analyze the results and compare. So in that case, age will be important. Then again, gender. If you have two groups of participants, male versus female, then again, you can have two boxes like male for one and female for other, then the respondents can tick any one. So in this case, if you want to compare the male responses with the female responses, then gender will be needed. And then location, if you want to compare results for the city dwellers and the say the village dwellers, because now you're going to collect online. It depends. If you say you may also have that group as well, you want to compare the result, then the location of the respondents is also required. Educational background can be another thing. If you think it's important for your research and it can impact the results, say Bangla medium students versus English medium students, something like that, or people who have studied in Dhaka versus people who have studied in other parts of Bangladesh. So if you want to compare their results, then education background can also be important. So demographic information is based on your research. If you think that nothing matters, you're not going to compare anything, then you don't need this section. But if you are going to compare, if you have like more than one group of respondents and you want to compare the responses, then the demographic information is important. All right. So is that clear, everyone? Now, also remember, please remember, do not number the demographic information. This is not, the demographic information is not your survey questions. So do not number them at all. If you need demographic information, after that, then you start your survey questions. Survey questions, minimum 10 close-ended questions with detailed options as shown in the sample copy. All the survey questions must reflect the main research questions so that you get all the answers to the research questions. All right. So as I wrote the minimum 10s, and then I wrote minimum like 10 to 15 close-ended survey question. Now, do not, if you need more than 10, then make sure that it's not more than 15, just otherwise it will be too lengthy. So 10 to 15 close-ended survey questions will do. Now, there's one more thing. The last question will be an open-ended question, only the last one. And this is, so say it can be question number 11. If your last question is question 11, then the last question will be like this: any further comments? That's how you're going to write the last question. Any further comments? And in bracket you write optional, because if the participants want to answer this, they can. So provide a box like this, or you can provide some lines. And if they want to add anything else, apart from responding to the survey questions, if they think that they want to add anything else, then they can write it here in detail in this box. So you will have 10 to 15 closed-ended questions following this sample here, okay? Like 4 to 5 options, detailed options like this. And the last question will be this one. Any further comments? And you provide this box for them. So this one will be open-ended because they can give details. They can just write it. But for all the survey questions, all of them will be closed like this, all right, with detailed options. Please provide instruction as well. At the beginning, when you start your survey question, right, please give the instruction, please select the best option or the most appropriate option. Now, for some of the survey question, if you think that they can respond more than one of the options, then you provide the instruction there as well. Okay, so is it clear, everyone?
Yes, Miss, clear.
Yeah, so that's it. Okay, I will give you this structure of the survey questionnaire as well. I will post this as well as the sample copy. There is actually a second page to this sample copy. Yeah, so your options should not be something like yes, no, or something like if the answer is how often do you do something, it should be a lot, some, not much. It should not be limited like this. It should be more in details, okay? Just like this first page, this one. So all the options should be detailed like this. Remember, when you prepare the survey questions, please think of the psychology of the respondents. That what would they think? If you were to ask a question, what type of response would they give? If you were to interview them, of course, they will give you a lot of details. So try to understand the mind of the respondents and based on that, provide detailed options. So that's how you're going to prepare the survey questions. So please look at all the research questions very carefully and provide detailed options to 10 to 15 survey questions. Okay, so clear, everyone? If you have any questions, then you can ask me after I take quiz 2 on Thursday, all right? Okay, so I'm going to call out your names now. I want you to start preparing your survey questionnaire and please submit by next week, right? Can you all do that? Submit the first draft by next week because I have to check after I have approved your survey questionnaire, only then you can start collecting your data. And after you have collected your data, you can start the data interpretation section. Okay, so respond to your names. Khandakar Akhtar Hamid,
Yes, ma'am.
Anik Bishash Joy,
Yes, ma'am.
Marufa Jaman, Lovely Khatun, Fariha Qadir,
Present, Miss.
Ashraful Haq,
Present, Miss.
Jubair Ahmed,
Present, Miss.
Abu Bakr Siddiq,
Present, Miss.
Mithila Farjana,
Present, Miss.
Abdul Qayyum, Tanaf Ashraf Jaman,
Present, ma'am. Miss.
Shabab Muluk,
Present, Miss.
Rafi Rizwan,
Yes, Miss.
Ibn Sina Bhuya,
Present, ma'am.
Taslima Jahan,
Present, ma'am.
Ali Yusuf Alvi,
Present, ma'am.
Abdul Mohaimin, Abdul Mohaimin, Rapsa Ryan,